Yep.
All right. So just like before, if we select copy, as you can see, it looks almost identical to what you had before. The biggest difference is that there's no physical buttons. So if you actually want to make multiple copies, we push in the top right-hand corner. And again, we can say we want 500 copies. We can say okay. If you want to interrupt my job, again, this only works from copying to copying, but we can actually push the interrupt button here. It's going to ask for your color code again because it's assuming it's a different user. So I'll put ours in, and as you can see, it's got switched back to 1. Once I'm done with my copies, I push interrupt again, and it continues the previous 500. If you want to cancel, you say function cleared twice, and it defaults everything back to normal. If you take anything away from this demo, make sure that you always select auto color if you want to make any color copies and or prints. From your computer, it will actually just say auto, or it will say color, but never select full color because it will charge you for color for every single print that you make. Again, if we push this back to normal, Zoom, the nice thing about Zoom is, let's say that our original size document that we're going to make a copy of is ledger size, but we want to print on letter. It automatically will reduce it down for you so it fits on the smaller size sheet. And then vice versa, we can say letter, but want to print on ledger, it blows it up for you so it fits on the larger size sheet. You can still go up and down manually, down to 25%, up to 400, but the presets are pretty good. And then we can say cancel. Finishing, this is where you do all your stapling. So again, you can say staple on the top left, top right, 2 on the side, 2 on the side. And since you have a saddle stitch finisher, you can also select binding as well. And it gives you options if you just want to fold or fold and staple. Easy way to cheat is if you look at the picture where you see the blue, that means it's going to staple there in the center. Or if there's anything written on it, it means there's actually going to be text in there. And anything I'm showing you from here, you can also do from your computer as well. Two-sided, just like before, so it's going to be default to single side, 2 singles to a double to a double to 2 singles split. Under the Edit tab, there's a lot more options. More common ones, again, are 2-in-1, 4-in-1. We can put up to 8 sheets of paper on one sheet. So if you do 2-in-1, it'd be 2 per side. If you do 4-in-1, it'd be 4 per side. But we can also select two-sided as well. So on the back would be page 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it's going to ask you how you want to do it, but we can say it's 2 to 2 or 1 to 2. So it's very customizable on that side. Cover sheet and sheet insertion is on the bypass tray on the right of the machine, as we can load in yellow, pink, green, blue, whatever kind of paper we want. It will grab one from the actual bypass tray, everything else from the drawer. Sheet insertion is the same thing, but I can say on page 2, 10, 25, pull from the bypass tray, and it will actually grab it for just those pages. So if you have something in it that has chapters and you want to break it apart with a color image, you can. Down one more page, it says emit blank pages. Emit blank pages is if you're making copies of both single-sided and double-sided at the same time, anytime it finds a white blank page, it just kicks it out of the job. My favorite thing that made the difference on the copier is that if there's a certain job that anybody does on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and it's, instead of going through all the process each and every time, we can just assume that we're going to staple in the top left, we're going to make it auto color, it's going to be two-sided, and once we have it set up just the way we like, this little Home Plus button here, the password is 1 through 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we can actually create another button on the front screen and call it Special Job 1 or Weekly Handout, and it will actually make all those changes for you on a single push button at that point. We'll cancel for now. That's kind of it for copying. So next to be, if we go back to scans, as you can see, it looks identical to what you had before, but if we select email, it has all the email addresses already in here. We can say, just narrow it down to anybody that starts with A, B, or C, or D, E, or F, but all the ones should be the same setup as before. Only thing that's changed on emails is, let's say that I'm going to scan to Annette and I want to rename the document before it gets to her. If I go to details in the bottom left, here's where we can actually rename that PDF. If you don't, it's just going to say doc and today's date. We mentioned about JPEG scanning. As you can see right now, JPEG is not an option. But if we go back to the beginning here and go to scan settings, and these apply for any of these, but if we go to scan settings, select color mode, this time you do want full color. And we go back to email again and select on details. And now we scroll down, now we can see JPEG and Slim PDF for both options as well. If anybody ever wants to print from USB, the biggest thing about USB is it needs to be an image file. So if you're going to be in Microsoft Word, you just say save as PDF or JPEG or PNG, and if you have no problem printing. To actually scan to a USB, we actually do it from this scan screen, would say USB. It will default to PDF, and here's where you actually rename that document. On any of the scan settings, it's going to say multi and single. It's going to default as multi, which means if you put up to 8 sheets of paper in the top feeder, all 8 sheets will actually be saved as one file. If we select single, every single page will be its own attachment. Again, after 30 seconds, it will default back to multi by itself. Going back to the home screen here, print. This is where you'd actually print from your USB. So once you plug the USB stick in, you would do a drop-down menu. It would say USB here. It's going to show you the folders. You select on the folder you want. It's going to show you the files, and that's where we can select to have multiple pages. This is also where you can do private and hold print. So from your computer, if you go to File, Print, Properties, in the top left-hand corner is going to be a drop-down menu that says Normal Print, which means if you push print, it's coming out. But we can drop it down and select Hold or Private Print. Hold print, what will happen is it will still come to the copier, but nothing comes out. So you walk up here, select hold, it will have your computer name here. You can print all day long, it will keep building under that one name. Once you select your name, it's going to show you all the actual jobs waiting for you, and you can say, I want to print one, I want to release them all, I want to delete them. It gives you all the options from here. Private print is the exact same thing, but when you say print from your computer, it's going to pop up and ask for a 5-digit password. You can make it different each time, but if we put 1111 in, we put the same code in here, and then we can release those files. So one is for convenience, the other one is for security purposes. As far as any other, simple copy, it's the same as what we went over, but it's just a simplified form. So we can just say I want 6 copies, I want it to be in auto color, and it's going to be stapled in the upper left side. It's just a really simplified version of copying. Same thing on the actual scan side. If we say simple scan, we can actually click on address book here, and it brings you to the same page. And again, you can click on one or different ones at the same time. We can also select the file format from here, change the resolution, and also say if you want to have it two-sided. One thing I forgot about that is under scans, when it comes to two-sided, actually book in this case will be two-sided. Tablet would also be two-sided, but the reverse image would be upside down. That is in the simplified version of functionality. Again, there's a lot more buttons and functions in there. If anybody has any questions on the silver sticker here, has our number, and we're going to ask you for the C5769. At that point, we know your PCMC, we know what kind of machine you have, and you can say just want additional training, and we can go from there.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem.